New York Jets, right? Yeah. So the Jets go out and they get Will McDonald the fourth. Now, Will McDonald, you talk about our guys. I mean, he's our guy. I mean, we talked about him. I mean, I don't know how many times we talked about him, but I'm sure we annoyed people. I'm sure I got unsubscribers because of how much I talked about this kid. Okay.
He's that good.
239 pounds. He's being asked to go up against guards and centers and double team opportunities, playing 4I. I mean, he's so out of position. It is ridiculous. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, let's just put it this way. This is how we described it. It's like trying to squat and having somebody trying to shove you while you're squatting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was completely at a disadvantage. He still showed up in the run game. He still showed up as a pass rusher. And anytime he got those wide 9 reps where he was able to just rush off the edge, not really think too much about it, just have a plan, put it together, because he's got a pass rush plan, he was dynamic. Yeah. And so to me, I know that there were a lot of, fans that were hoping he'd fall to their team. And then there were fans of the Jets where he gets picked at 15. They're like, this is a reach. This ain't no reach. This is the second best edge defender in the class, only behind Will Anderson, in my mind, has a higher ceiling than anybody because he's still young, okay? He already showed you that he can win in the trenches like that. He can win in the 4I. So I don't have concerns about that. He's battle-tested. Now I know he can take on double teams. But, I don't know if you saw, but Robert Saleh is like, yeah, we're going to get you out of the 4I and have you come out wide 9, Yeah. And it's like, that's how it should be because that's a good football coach. And it's not to knock, Matt Campbell at Iowa State, and I think he's a great football coach, but for whatever reason, his system was just incorrect for what Will McDonald brings to the table. So you get him with Robert Saleh, and I'm really excited about the potential of the Jets now because, people are like, oh, we need an offensive lineman. Well, I did tell you, okay, maybe once or twice, maybe already on the show, I did tell you this is why I didn't like the pick swap for Aaron Rodgers. This is literally why I said this, because you missed out on your guy, okay? I can't stress that enough. You missed out on your guy. You wanted the tackle from Ohio State. Instead, the Steelers come up, they trade him, they take him, right? That's what happened, okay?
Yeah. And you got 2 offensive linemen right after that. So it's right after Will McDonald. So it's take it easy.
And my bad, not Ohio State. I mean Georgia.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why the pick swap sucked, because I knew that was happening. Plus, you gave the Patriots all the leverage. So turns out they did exactly what I expected. They're basically like, oh, please, Pittsburgh, come up here. You only have to give us a 4th. Normally, we'd ask for a 3rd, maybe even an extra 2nd. Just give us a 4th. And that's what they did. They wanted to screw the Jets. They did. So the Jets stay here. People had an issue with that. No trade down. No going after an offensive tackle. No, they're going to go after the best player on the board. In their mind, that was Will McDonald. In my mind, I think they were right. Now you have Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, right? You got Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson, Bryce Huff. I mean, all of these rushers, and now you add Will McDonald to that. So now you have some leverage here because it's like if you move on from Carl Lawson, all right, well, we have Will McDonald to go. We have JJ3 to go. You got 2 first-round edge defenders in back-to-back drafts. So I love this pick. It's an A+ for me. Then you get Joe Tippmann at center. Now, everyone wanted the tackle, right? But center's still important. I mean, Joe Tippmann could still somehow start over McGovern. He's the best center in this draft, no doubt about it. So it's a matter of if they want to do that. I'm not entirely sure about Laken Tomlinson. I thought he had a bad year last year. So maybe McGovern kicks in at guard or maybe Tippmann kicks in at guard, right? But either way, I love the pick at 43. Then they go out and they get Carter Warren. They don't have a pick in the 3rd round, right? So they get Carter Warren. And Warren is going to add to that depth that they have at tackle. They have Max Mitchell, right? They drafted him last year. Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton. Now they add him. And, we'll see what ends up happening. Just kind of draft and stash, right?
Yeah.
Good talent. I didn't think he was great, but I thought he was a solid, pick. Then they go out and they get Izzy Abanikanda
Woo.
from Pittsburgh, who ran behind Carter Warren. And let me tell you, they were definitely looking at his tape because you got our guy Izzy Abanikanda, and I had him as the 4th best running back in this draft. I think he's got what it takes to be a starting running back. You already have Breece Hall. You have Zonovan Knight. You have Michael Carter. This team's loaded with running back talent. And then they go out and get Zaire Barnes, who I think is easily going to, have a chance to compete, make the roster, and then potentially start down the road. He's a guy that they would like for sure. Jarek Bernard-Converse, one of the greatest names ever at cornerback. And then Zach Kuntz, who we talked about. The thing with him is that he's measurables, right? He's a developmental tight end. Well, the great thing about that is you have Tyler Conklin, you have CJ Uzama. So you don't need to worry about throwing him in the fire. You can continue to work with this 7th round project, so to speak. You have him, and you have Jeremy Ruckert, who you drafted in the 3rd round last year. No pressure on those guys. You got 2 veterans, Conklin and Uzama, that have won and played in big games. Cam, I thought this draft was really good for the Jets. Was it perfect? No. But I'm going to give him an A-. Okay? I think this is a really, really good draft. I know Jets fans were a little disappointed they didn't get their big marquee tackle. Sometimes this is the way the cookie crumbles. And, I think Will McDonald is going to end up being an absolute star.
Yeah, you talked about giving an A-. I was like, is Jake a little biased here? No, you're not. You're spot on with that. I'm gonna give him a B+. You talk about Will McDonald. That's complementary football, right? Let's say your first pick is Aaron Rodgers, whatever that is. Okay, let's complement that second on the defensive side. Let's get Will McDonald. Let's get someone who can give him the football back. So they went Aaron Rodgers and then they went Will McDonald. So think about it that way. Don't think about it. I know it's the draft, but it's complementary ball. And then after they addressed the defensive side, right? So they addressed Aaron Rodgers. They went defense and they went back to offense. So for the Jets fans who were like, "Dang, we should have got our guy," blah blah blah. At the end of the day, an offensive tackle, he can change the game. He can, probably take a team to a championship, but not faster than Aaron Rodgers can. So I think right now, with short term, with Aaron Rodgers wanting to go win a Super Bowl, go compete, this is the best move. I love the Jets. It's the best move. Get your Aaron Rodgers, get a guy who can give him the football back, and then go support Aaron Rodgers. So get your Joe Tippmann, who you mentioned is very solid center, who can move the guard. Go get your Carter Warren, who blocked for Izzy. You can't ask for any better than that, Jake. This is a complimentary draft. People say complimentary football, all 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. This is a complimentary draft. So with Salah, great job. I mean, I think he crushed this one. You talk about your Zaire Barnes. One of my notes for him: my man lives in the backfield. So not only do you have Will on that side in the draft, coming to a rookie mini camp and OTAs, you got a guy like Zaire who also lives in the backfield, plays a linebacker, can be off ball, but can also jump to the edge there and make cause some havoc. And then you got Zach at the end. Jake, it's more of a balanced draft. It's more of a balanced draft. I think the Patriots had the most balanced draft where they got kickers and punters and all types of stuff. They got all types of stuff, but I think this is a really balanced draft. I think this draft for the Jets make them that much more dangerous, especially with the Izzy part, right? Abanikanda. If people haven't watched his tape, cut it on. Jake, you've been screaming about him for a long time now. It's kind of similar to Will McDonald. If you haven't watched Izzy's tape, please do us a favor, check it out. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be well supported. You talk about that running back room that you just mentioned. He's going to be so supported. Some of those I have for Izzy. He has wheels. Like he has wheels. He gives me that Alvin Kamara excitement where he's breaking runs and it's like, dang, I'm getting excited. This is great. You don't really get that from every running back, but he has it. So Jets, they get a B+ for me. Great job here in this draft, and I think they're going to be super dangerous. Hey, they're gonna be running the table, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what they did for Aaron Rodgers to support him. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Corey Davis. I mean, because that's a lot of cap that they're carrying right now. But Corey Davis is still in the receiver room, right? You still got Denzel Mims. You have Randall Cobb, who is going to be a nice wide receiver 5, veteran presence there. You have Alan Lazard, obviously coming over from the Packers, familiar face. Garrett Wilson, obviously he's one of the best receivers, young receivers in the league. And then you look at Mecole Hardman, and it's really fascinating with him because, is he a hidden gem here? A guy that really wasn't utilized that much with Kansas City because of all the weapons that they had. Is he somebody that could end up blowing up with Aaron Rodgers now? Because had they drafted somebody, had the Jets gone out at 15 and maybe gotten Jackson Smith and Jigba like some people wanted them to, I don't think you get that out of Mecole Hardman. I think it kind of minimizes that signing. So I think, did the Jets draft to protect their signings? No, I think the Jets believe in their signings. I think they really like Mecole Hardman. I think they really like Lazard. I think they really like having Cobb in there. And this is a really good receiver room. I don't know how it's going to look, come September, but it looks good now. And then the tight ends we already talked about. Running backs are stacked. The offensive line's looking pretty solid. You go out and you get the best center in the draft. You get, in my opinion, you got the second best pass rusher in the draft. You got the best center, the 4th best running back, and maybe the 8th best, maybe 7th or 8th, I believe, because I'm not looking at my notes right now, but 7th or 8th best offensive tackle in the draft in Carter Warren. That's a pretty good draft. Zach Kuntz was my 9th tight end. So, I mean,
offensively, they're fine.
Yeah. And their defense was one of the best last year. So I think people are kind of forgetting that. And they only added to it. That's the thing. They added more depth to that defense. And you can say what you will. Oh, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? They have a plan, man. You look at their secondary. They went out. They made a really sneaky trade for Chuck Clark that people don't talk about nearly enough. That guy's Mr. Versatility. He can do it all. So you got Chuck Clark. You got Jordan Whitehead. You got Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II. I mean, man, I don't know. I'm feeling really good about the Jets this year, and I think any Jets fan should feel good about this draft and just their offseason entirely.
Offseason entirely. We talk about Sauce Gardner and his sales and his marketing skills, Jake, right? It's okay, we got Aaron Rodgers. Our guy Sauce is vouched for us. He went on social media, burned the cheese head. He did the whole 9. Well, if Sauce is going to support us in marketing and sales, let's get someone who can support him, right? Let's get someone who can have that quarterback throw the ball just a little bit higher so he can get the interception, right? Let's get that quarterback to throw the ball just a little bit to the left and to the right because Will McDonald is forcing that. So we talk about happy wife, happy life, happy Sauce Gardner, happy Jets football team, right? Now you got Aaron Rodgers. Now you got Will McDonald. They're supporting Sauce Gardner with that. So like you said, Jake, this is a dynamic draft class. To be honest, I don't know if I got really chills after any of these conversations, but the Jets are giving me the spookies, my man, because it's whoa, how good are these guys going to get? I think the Eagles gave me that a little bit too. It's man, you got to this is not fair. Don't let them do that. Same thing with the Jets. It's whoa, these guys are making too many power moves. Let's put this to the side. But I think the Jets, they probably have the most dangerous draft here. Just talking through it, I felt the most energized speaking about them and some of their selections. So, man, I think just the winners overall for me. Just kind of recapping our past couple of days, the Colts did really well, Steelers did really well, and the Jets. These are the 3 teams that stick out in my mind that these past couple of days have given me that, whoa, I can't wait to cut their tape on. So great job by the Jets.
That's how I felt about the Bengals too. So we'll see with the Jets, but I've been saying for a minute now that defense is not, they're not a slouch, and that team should have won 10 games last year. They could win 12 or 13 this year. They're that good. So it's all up to Aaron Rodgers. If he plays like last year, I don't know, but if he plays like 2 years ago, this team could be in the Super Bowl realistically.